We had not eaten all day and were soaked to the skin. It was imperative that we get somewhere warm and dry out. As I walked out the back through the field, throughout it there was dead cows with their legs upstretched, killed by mines or artillery fire. I reached the haystack and everyone was sound asleep. So much for being alert. I woke them up and told them the situation and my apprehensions regarding the civilians. They were not impressed and were looking forward to the warmth and something to eat. We then followed the path I had taken along the stone wall. When we were near the cottage, Leip and one of the ammo barrels circled around left of the cottage. I and the other ammo barrel would circle right. We would meet in the rear, and if everything was all right, we'd go in. We did not find anything. We knocked gently on the door. It was immediately opened by the same person. The first thing that struck us was the smell of freshly brewed coffee. His wife had prepared for some food for us, bread, butter, jam, and coffee, and had set it out on a large wooden table in the kitchen. I went over to the single window and drew the thick, heavy drape over the window. There was a roaring fire in the fireplace, and we took turns drying out our clothing. This was beyond our expectations. I cautioned them that we could not linger too long, and that we must move on. We had no security out, and our luck could be changed at any moment. They understood. An hour later, with food in our stomachs and warmth of a fire still heating our bodies, we thanked the kind-hearted Belgians for their hospitality and set out again. It was still dark and starting to snow. I tried to get my bearings, hoping that I would not to get turned around again. Again, we avoided the roads and villages, but kept them in sight for a reference. It was quiet, too quiet. As we waded through the deep snow, I became more and more uneasy. First of all, I did not know for sure where we were, which always bothered me. Secondly, we had exhausted and needed time to rest. Thirdly, we were to do a daylight. I thought perhaps we should have stayed at the Belgian cottage, getting a good night's sleep, and had been fairly fresh in the morning. At least we would have had a roof over our head for the time. I called a halt, and everyone dropped in their footsteps. They were totally worn out and needed rest. The only thing I could think of was to gather some boughs and branches and make some sort of bed out of them, using our blanket rolls. I would take the first watch while they got some sleep, then wake one of them when I got sleepy. As they settled down for some much-needed sleep, I ate the remains of K-rations I had saved and thought about my next move. We should rest here for several hours, then move out. Getting about 3 hours of walking in before daylight, during the daylight hours, we should stay put. Let me get this real quick.